Good morning, everybody. Steve Fletcher with a trumpet for my people, or good afternoon, I should say. February 11th, 2025. So we went walking this morning, my wife with her sister and her sister-in-law, and we all ended up in green. Wow. So green means go. Could be a sign. Had a wonderful day. Starting out our day with a nice long walk with the family. So I pray you guys are blessed this morning. Okay, so yesterday we were talking about the Trump ultimatum. Donald Trump gave an ultimatum to Hamas that the hostages must be released by Saturday or else, and that if they are not released by 12 p.m. on Saturday, that all hell will break out. And a response came from Hamas's spokesperson, and this came out today. Hamas responds to Trump's ultimatum. UN chief urges Gaza terror group to implement planned hostage release as Hamas rebuffs President Trump's warning that all hell will break loose if Israeli hostages are not released on Saturday. The Hamas terror organization on Tuesday rebuffed an ultimatum issued by President Donald Trump, demanding the Gaza group release all remaining hostages by this coming Saturday. A spokesman for the terror group, Sami Abu Suri, told Reuters Tuesday morning that Trump's threats have no value, reiterating its claims that Israel has violated the ceasefire deal. Trump must remember that there is an agreement that must be respected by both parties, and this is the only way to bring back the hostages. The language of threats has no value and only complicates matters, Abu Zuri said. So they're not showing that they're going to pay attention to the threats of Donald Trump, and that the Saturday deadline means nothing to them. So we'll see what is going to be happening then between now and Saturday. Will Trump follow through with his threats? Or do these threats carry no weight? We'll have to see what happens between now and Saturday. At the same time, Benjamin Netanyahu did issue also a Gaza ceasefire ultimatum and reiterated that by Saturday, Hamas must follow through with the return of all the hostages by Saturday. So, on his part, Benjamin Netanyahu is in agreement with Donald Trump, and Netanyahu issues his own Gaza ceasefire ultimatum for Saturday. Okay, so yesterday we made the connection about let all hell break out. When all hell breaks out, what does that mean, Mr. President? What does it mean when you say all hell breaks out? You'll find out. And so this is the same terminology, the same phrase he used when he said calm before the storm. You'll find out. Okay, so is this the final step in the calm before the storm, hell breaking out? And so we made the connection that between October 5th, 2017, when Donald Trump said calm before the storm, you'll find out what that means, to this Saturday, February 15th, 2025, all hell will break out if Hamas does not return all of the hostages. You'll find out. So we connect those two by 2690 days, and 2690 in the Hebrew is trumpet. And I did not share yesterday what it meant in the Greek. I don't know how I overlooked that. Someone shared this in a comment under the video. But that also means to overturn, to overthrow, to destroy. The actual word in Greek is catastrophe. So, very powerful number with a very powerful meaning, trumpet and destruction. 2690. At the last trumpet, 1 Corinthians 15, 51 and 52. I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For when they shall say, peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Trumpet and catastrophe. February 15th, 2025. But something else Donald Trump said in this interview: all hell will break out by Saturday if they do not return the hostages. And then he said all hostages, not dribs and drabs, not 2, not 1, not 3, not 4, not 2. Okay, so someone said February 13th is coming up here. Could he have been coding the date by saying not 2, not 1, not 3? Is that what he meant, February 13th? So as we watch this week, we see that February 12th is the full moon in Leo. And so we have the full moon anywhere from the 12th, the 13th, and the 14th, and the 15th is now a waning moon going into Saturday the 15th. So we have the full moon starting on the 12th of February, and the 13th is still a full moon. New Year for trees this year is Wednesday, February 12th, going through Thursday, February 13th. Tu B'Shavat, the New Year of the Trees, is a minor Jewish holiday occurring on the 15th day of the Hebrew month of Shavat. This is a very important holiday because on February 14th, 1949, the 15th of Shavat, the New Year of the Trees, the first sitting of the Constituent Assembly took place at the Jewish Agency building in Jerusalem. The Knesset had their first assembly on February 14th, 1949, which was the New Year of the Trees. Jesus told us to watch for the sign of the trees. Now learn the parable from the fig tree. When its branch has already become tender and put forth its leaves, you know that summer is near. So you too, when you see all these things, recognize that he is near, right at the door. Could the connection be to the beginning of the Israel Knesset, the forming of their government on the New Year of the Trees in 1949? So on February 14, 1949, the first Knesset of Israel convened in Jerusalem. The Knesset is Israel's unicameral parliament and supreme authority. What happened on February 14, 1949? The Constituent Assembly, elected in January of 1949, met for the first time at the Jewish Agency building in Jerusalem. 2 days after the first meeting, the Assembly voted to change its name to Knesset, which translates to assembly in Hebrew. The Knesset replaced the Provisional State Council, which had served as Israel's legislature since its independence in May of 1948. What was the purpose of the Knesset's first meeting? The Knesset's first meeting succeeded the provisional government that had served as the Jewish community's parliament. The Knesset's first meeting was opened by Israeli President Chaim Weizmann. What does the word Knesset mean? The word Knesset is a Hebrew word that means gathering or assembly. It refers to the unicameral parliament of Israel, which is located in Jerusalem. The Knesset is the Israeli legislature, which is responsible for passing laws and appointing the president of Israel. The Knesset is a place where the Israeli state and its representatives gather. The word Knesset comes from the root meaning to gather, and the Knesset's membership is fixed at 120. So when we look at the number 120 and the gathering of Israel together, this brings us to the a very powerful gathering that took place on the day of Pentecost. In those days, Peter stood up in the midst of the disciples. The number of names together were about 120. So they were gathered together 120, just like Israel's Knesset to this day is 120 members. And when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. They were gathered together. The word for gather in Hebrew is Knesset. 120 gathered together. And suddenly there came a sound from heaven as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting. And so throughout this entire week, we have this theme of trumpet and gathering. He is coming in the clouds. He shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. I pray you are blessed. This is Steve Fletcher with a trumpet for my people, the sign of his coming revealed.